Hi everyone, we are right now, Tania, in a...
Where are we? I mean, what is this place? We're in a yacht.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
I can't believe it.
I can't believe it. And we are here for something very cool and very big and something that's never been done before in the chess world.
Yes, freestyle chess is happening on a yacht. And also, Tania, first game is happening here, the second game somewhere else.
Yes, so 21st. And it's happening between the world number 1 and the world number 2. So Magnus and Fabi are going to play their first game on a yacht right here. And we're going to show everyone.
How it looks inside.
Yeah, because I'm still getting over this. This is...
Okay, it opened on its own. And as we enter this area, you can already see a chess set here, which is a Star Wars chess set. This is already something that I really like.
It's very cool. My only thing is, अगर हम इसमें a game खेलेंगे, if we play a game on this, the pieces are all different characters,
Yeah.
so they're not mirroring each other.
I haven't been back.
It could get a little confusing.
It's
which
real
piece is
freestyle
what.
chess.
It's freedom of mind. Free your mind and play this chess, but it's it's very cool. So this is the board here. We enter from here. This I think is going to be the interview area.
Totally inspired.
So the players.
I think everyone would watch maybe the game live here or something of that sort. And we have
Food.
Maurice here, who is part of the commentary, but
Am
also,
I? I'm just eating my food. What is it?
but
I'm
also
supposed to work?
you are also a rival to Tania until tomorrow.
Tomorrow, we're playing against each other, Maurice. What do you think? What do you think, Sagar? Who's the favorite in that match?
I think it's a very well balanced match because let's say Magnus is slightly higher rated than Fabi and Maurice is slightly higher rated than you.
But I haven't been in forever.
Sorry?
I think Tania is the clear favorite here.
But you are working on your chess every day.
Oh, that is
No?
true.
I think the
But I think I'll take it. I think I'll
I
take
think the
it.
practice will be tricky, and Tanya is very distracting. You see how beautiful she is? How easy will it be for me to take?
This is our commentary room.
Wow.
So this is where we'll be doing the broadcast from. The idea is to move these chairs here. We'll have this backdrop. The TV will have a really cool sort of the skyline backdrop of Singapore. When an exciting move happens, Sagar will jump on the bed. That's so like that.
And also here is where Fabi and Magnus will play.
Yes.
They'll convert this bathtub in, there'll be a chessboard. Okay, this is not the place where it's
This
happening.
is our playing hall.
We are now one floor up and this is the playing hall. This is where there'll be a chessboard and 2 chairs. And this is where Magnus and Fabi will play each other. Tania, this is so beautiful, right?
I'm just thinking, how do you stay focused on the game? How do you get that feel? You've got this incredible view, you're inside the yacht, you're playing here, and then you're playing against you're playing 2 of the best players in the world to get competitive. Magnus and Fabi, there's a lot of money on the line as well.
But apart from money, Tania, like the one who wins, it's like battle between world number 1 and world number
Yes.
2. So you are like, if you win, you are clearly the best player in the world.
And
Yeah?
Magnus won the Weissenhaus freestyle. Fabi's won the 9LX, the freestyle that happens at St. Louis. So it's really a clash between 2, even in this format, who keep winning tournaments.
Yeah. I mean, at first it feels like an exhibition match, but I also think that they both are very
Competitive
serious
about
about it. So
Yeah.
it will be a fun. So the format is 2 games,
Yes, best of 2.
best of 2 on 21st and 22nd, and in case of tie,
Then
we
they
go
play in the
in.
bathtub.
I feel like this event, the way they have organized it, is kind of pushing chess in a new direction in terms of organization. No, Tanya, like they are trying to do different things here. They are not just keeping it like, normal venue, what are the things
No.
needed. They're trying to innovate.
They are innovating, and it's just exciting time for chess, right? That something like this is happening. We've had Fischer Random before, we've had freestyle chess before, but it's never done like this. Even the format played in classical time control, a longer time control, and just sort of the rawness of freestyle, how fresh every position is. So I think it's going to be really exciting, and then the whole idea is to announce what's coming up next year with what's happening in Singapore.
Yes, this entire circuit of 2025, there are going to be 5 events across the world happening, and all of that will be announced. So yeah, freestyle chess is going to grow, and this is, I think, the start of it.
Yeah, I think the whole plan is to make it around how we see in Formula One, how the circuit goes, right? You've got the races across the world, and then in Abu Dhabi you've got the big finals, and the one who wins that becomes the world champion. You collect your points throughout the year. So I think that's sort of the general idea, that these players, the best in the world, they'll play across, iconic cities throughout the year, keep gaining points, keep winning.
Hopefully in India, one of
them will come to India next year, and then we'll have a sort of a grand final freestyle and all of that. It's very cool.
I get seasick easily, first of all, so I'm gonna throw up or worse.
Vomit chess for you.
It's not gonna be fun.
Variant.
But actually, I don't feel like it's too much of a thing. And once you get to chess, like you're just playing, right? You want to win. I don't care who's sitting across from me. If it's Sagar, especially if it's Tania. Like, I want to win, and I think that's exactly what's going to happen with them. They're just going to want to win. That's all that's going to count. So that I think is going to be no problem. They're going to be very competitive once it starts.
100%. I mean, I just think anything unique like this in the chess world is so exciting. And, we've all been there where, again, once it starts, you're only thinking about what's in front of you. But that said, I do feel that I would find a challenge to stay sort of focused on the game, because everything around is so beautiful. So that just adds to, I think, your mindset. Shouldn't be a problem for Magnus and Fabi.
Yeah, not at all. I think Magnus and Fabi are going to be in the zone. What is very exciting is for all of us to be covering this, and for me particularly to be moving around, interviewing a few people to ask them, and we don't know who will come here. I think there'll be a lot of different kinds of people, very interesting personalities who will come in, so it'll be a lot of fun.
What's your favorite thing about freestyle chess?
The originality, the freshness in the positions. Things happen that you never see in a regular chessboard. We've seen so much as players that when you see the same thing over and over, it's the same patterns, it's the same opening, it's the same lines. It's not that it's a bad thing, it's just chess for what it is, but freestyle, anything could happen. And you see tactics that you just like, where did that come from? How is that even a construction? The pieces are weird, but it's cool because it just opens up that originality and that creativity and that freshness that really is what makes us get excited about chess.
And that's the reason, right, Sagar, that Magnus was insistent to have a classical time format for freestyle.
Yeah, I think when the pieces are all scrambled, it's very difficult to know even what's the right first move. You also don't know how to respond back to it, and I think all of that needs time, not just for the players but also for the commentators, for the viewers. I think one thing which has been very difficult for the viewers is to understand what's going on, and I think in the commentary that can be broken down, and that will really make freestyle chess even more accessible.
It's really interesting you said that, because Maurice and I were having this long discussion about this yesterday, that we're so conditioned to that starting position, 518 out of the 960 positions that are possible in freestyle chess, that we forget that every other position is also still chess.
Right.
The rules don't change. The ideas are still the same, that you want your pieces on the best possible squares. You want that coordination to come in. But we just think that there's only one position to start with. But it really doesn't have to be the case.
No.
And once you are able to have that mind shift, you can let go of how difficult it is, because you start chess from move number 1.
Right, absolutely. And I think there are certain principles which work only for 518 position, like center control. There are certain positions in chess 960 where center control is not important at all. Controlling the right flank or the left flank is important, I guess.
Initially, at least.
Yes.
Initially, the very first couple of moves. But the reality is that the foundation of chess, the limitation of a chessboard, it's 64 squares. It's not like suddenly we've shape-shifted the board and suddenly it's an oval or a hexagram or whatever. Like nothing is changing. It's the same 64 squares. The pieces still obey the same rules. You still have to coordinate, as Tania said, your pieces. You still have to develop them, and eventually you will have to control the center. And after 15 to 20 moves, you'll see regular chess positions pop up. We're creatures of habit, and that's why people get so used to regular chess.
Right.
518.
So that's why this is very exciting, and I hope that you all will follow this tournament.
Tania, any predictions?
Wow, Magnus,
see it.
you mean the one between Maurice and
Yeah,
me?
let's start with that.
Let's
Let's start with that.
I predict a 1-1 tie.
Do we have a tiebreaker?
There's no
afterwards?
I don't
tiebreak,
think
so
so.
I
I
would
don't
say
think there's a
both will be
So
like.
it's yeah.
I would also predict maybe the first game goes to Maurice and Caruana, Fabi, and the second one to Tania and Magnus.
I think that they're the favorites, and the problem with being the favorite sometimes is that you're expected to win. So Tania will have some additional pressure because she has the greatest player of all time that she's partnering with, and hopefully that makes her feel more comfortable and not feel the pressure of maybe having to screw up.
I'm very excited.
You know, so that's the only thing I would say.
Maurice, are you trying to put pressure on her by making
Never.
her the
I would
favorite?
never say that. Why would I do that? Not at
He's
all.
only been trash talking me the entire taxi ride.
I was not trash talking her at all. She's the one who's spinning wheels about this event. But I think that it should be fascinating, and it's gonna be a party scene.
Yeah, I think the idea is
So-
to have a lot of fun as well because
No, the idea is to win
yes.
while having fun. That is the main idea. So that is how I will be treating it for sure. But it'll be its own thing. But as far as the match is concerned, Fabi versus Magnus, Fabi is coming off a fantastic result in St. Louis. He won the U.S. Championship for the third time in a row, and he also won the freestyle event.
Yeah.
Magnus, of course, is coming off a fantastic result in Tata.
He's won
Right.
10 tournaments in 2024.
But he did not play any freestyle recently.
Westonhouse, which was not very recent. It was
Recently,
back in
I'm talking about
Feb.
recently. So Fabi's coming fresh off that. That's Fabi's actual last event.
Yeah.
And you did
where he played
commentary for
multiple
that.
people, and I did commentary. Fabi played fairly well, although he had some trouble in some positions.
Yeah.
But Magnus is Magnus, so you never count him out of anything.
I don't think we're counting on Fabi. I think we're counting on Maurice here from our team perspective. So
No, I'm talking about the match
Match,
itself. The
yeah.
match
Oh,
between
the match.
Magnus
Oh, we moved
and
on
Fabi
from us.
one-on-one. Yeah.
I still want to talk about
You
that.
still
But
doesn't
okay, let's.
understand. No, but I think that
Tania is only thinking about her
Because
match.
that's tomorrow. And also, I'm playing with Magnus. I better make some good moves on the board. There is a lot of pressure around that. And Magnus can get very competitive.
for me, it's just winning, so whatever. But like I said, I think you're the favorites, and you're gonna have to live
You
up to
say
that.
everything, but then you add this little rider at the end, so nothing makes sense then. You know, you make
I'm
it.
just saying, you just have to live up to being the favorites and having Magnus on your team and not screwing up that matchup. Because
Thanks.
that match,
But
shape, or form.
I think Magnus is a very good team player.
Hmm.
I've seen that in many times. So
He
he
is.
tries to motivate the partner very much.
Yeah.
So I think you can expect him to also help you perhaps prepare today, tomorrow. You can ask him, what should be the strategy. That could be interesting. Tanya. Will you do that?
I think also the thing about Magnus is I've seen him do this. He has a special knack for making simple, strong moves, simple, strong
Yes.
decisions. He's not going to ask you to calculate 15 move variations.
But he can't talk to me, right? He just says when he's the head. So we're gonna play
No,
a
but
best
he
of
will
two.
he will
But he'll
understand
direct
your
you.
style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he'll try to sort of
I hope
maneuver
so.
that way, like, oh,
He
she's
has
a
a special
D4
skill.
player, maybe she'll like this.
No, I think I'm up for this, and I think it's gonna. For me, it's a huge opportunity to be also doing this. So I'm really excited.
But I think
about it.
Maurice, you and Fabi are very good friends, right?
Yeah.
You have.
So
been
they
in
have that
touch.
chemistry already.
Yeah, there's a bromance there for sure. So we'll be very comfortable, and he feels very good about us as a matchup.
Yeah.
But I mean, it
We're
remains
gonna-
to be seen.
we'll see.
It'll be fun.
So
It'll be
that's
fun being
tomorrow.
it's a party atmosphere.
Yes.
There's music. There's fancy people
When
all
I
dressed
said
up.
fun, then you said
you
it's
know,
about winning.
it's-
Now
I mean,
you're saying it's about
I'm
fun.
saying all of that's going to be there.
You're
How
psyching
can
me
you
out
not?
already.
How can you not try to win when you're
course I
having
can.
a great time like
Yeah.
that? So that's how I feel. Plus, I grew up in Brooklyn. I don't know about what you guys know about Brooklyn back in the day when I grew up. But when I played in the parks in Brooklyn, there was trash talking, there was music, there was sirens going off. There
That's
were,
an edge
I
for
mean,
you.
all of that was part of the scene. To me, I'm just going back to my roots.
Tanya
Except in a
grew up in
fancy
Delhi,
sex.
and
It's almost the
Sitting
same.
in my room, absolute silence, head in hand.
You should have said it. It's almost the same.
Delhi in some ways. We're now coming to the main match, which is the best of two. Predictions for that.
Yeah, I think Magnus may be slight favorite there, especially because he has had a plus score with Fabi in Weisenhaus, also in their World Championship match. So when they face one-on-one, I believe Fabi hasn't beaten him in any match format, so that does give him an edge there. But the recent form shows Fabi is very strong. I think it's a very close match. Could go to the tie breaks, but I predict Magnus as the slight favorite there.
Maurice?
It's very hard to bet against Magnus, right? It's always hard to bet against Magnus because of just it's Magnus. Fabi's form though is superlative right now. Like just he's on fire. He's winning just about everything he plays. And my thing is just the difference at this moment with Freestyle. Because he just came off this event in St. Louis with Chess9 Alex. He played 9 games. He played Nakamura. He played Kasparov. Right? He played all the top Americans. Okay, none of them except Nakamura is really going to be at the level of a Magnus and the feel you're going to have when you're facing the GOAT. But he still had 9 games and all that processing, and he's not off of that yet. He didn't move on to playing something else. He's not coming off 518 like Magnus is to now have to reset his brain. He's still in that, I will think, still in that flow. So that gives him a chance, a very good chance, not just being the 2800. So I think that it will be a close match, and it's going to be small margins that make the difference. I don't expect 2-0, for example, to be the result. I'd be surprised if it was. And it's going to come down to nerves in the end. And that's where Magnus, Mr. Cool, Calm customer, I think always has an edge. He just makes you feel like I'm supposed to win. But it's just going to be a show. I'm looking forward to it.
Amazing.
Tania?
I think a lot of it also depends on what position gets pulled out, because how comfortable the players feel with the piece formation. Maybe Fabi's got coming out of this victory in St. Louis, he's maybe more familiar with a few more setups, how good Magnus feels with what he gets with the bite. So very often in Weissenhaus, what we saw was that in freestyle chess, the players had a big edge, sometimes even right out of the opening, because one small mistake, how you decide to develop your piece or which pawn you decide to push forward, can decide the game. So much of it comes down to what gets pulled up, and I don't think the players have time for any preparation.
They have 10 or 15
10,
minutes.
15 minutes when they decide the position that they're going to be playing out, and both days they're going to have a fresh position. So, strength-wise, extremely close for me. In freestyle chess, I think Magnus, again, always a slight favorite, but still super competitive, very close. But a lot of it depends, I think, in the first few moves and what is the first position we see. And if someone gets the lead, I think, in the first game, it's really hard in the second game to come back in such a small match, in such a quick match, just with 2 games.
That's true. But also, usually when you have a lead in 518, you can maybe play an opening that's drawish.
Yeah.
Now let's go into some line that's simple. It's harder. I'll play a Berlin. I'll play a Petrov. What do you play when it's positioned 593 or 740? You like, how do I simplify this wild bishops or anywhere, knights or anywhere? You have nothing to fall back on. So it's harder to just make a standard draw, something you have in your pocket. This is my drawish line. That's out. So yes, if there's a lead, it's always difficult in a 2-game match to come back after you've lost the first game. But in freestyle, I think it's much more easy. It's because of potentially sharper positions, and mostly because unknown positions. You can't just dictate, I'm going to play like this and it's going to work out. So that's what makes another reason why freestyle is so exciting, because you can't just dull the game down and make it some boring draw. You have to play.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I think, and it's about taking how much risk can you take in these starting positions, and at the end of it, it's classical time control, but you still have to make a decision. And the thing is, right, you could actually, I don't know which game it was, but you had these 8 top grandmasters playing Weissenhaus, but I think there were a lot of games that within the first 15 moves,
even the finals,
you're busted. One of them was busted.
Fabi and Magnus,
And
after 2 moves, it was 0.09 for Magnus.
Yeah.
Like an edge.
And there are actually some starting positions where white has an edge to start with, but of course you have to be really precise. And nobody knows what's the right way forward because the position hasn't been played before. But yeah, I think making a second game comeback will be tough. I don't know if you'll have 2 draws. I'm going to predict 2 decisive games in this one. I don't know what
Also,
was the draw
Wesley So
percentage in
is
freestyle.
Coming here.
He's here. I
He's
saw
here.
him
He
in
will be one
breakfast.
of the helpers to the players. I don't know who the second helper is. Do you know?
No.
I think yes.
I didn't know that.
So he will. I
Probably
think
with Fabi, right?
I
He must
think
be helping Fabi.
He will be helping
Two Americans,
Fabi.
if he switched sides and
Yeah.
have Magnus, that would be a disaster.
So Magnus will have a helper, and I was talking to Wesley, and he said like in 10-15 minutes the aim is to just know what are the first 2-3 moves to make. You know, like you can't go deeper than that.
Yeah.
And Wesley also played in that same
Yes.
event
He's a
in St.
former
Louis. He's a
world
former world
champion
world
in freestyle.
world chess night
Fisher
Random.
Fisher
Fisher
Random
Random,
champion.
yes.
All these names for this thing.
Yes.
But he just came off of that event, so he will have his 9 games experience, Fabi's 9 games of experience, Magnus having to just readjust.
But Magnus
So
is
maybe that first game will be the biggest game of all.
I think so too. I
Because,
think
as
that's
you
going to be
mentioned,
very important.
because Fabi's coming in with some feel, some familiarity, some sense of this chaos. Well, I played 9 games of it, so it's not as chaotic anymore. And he seemed very confident too when he was playing. He seemed very self-assured. So that first game will say a lot. I think if Magnus can shut down the first game, especially if he has black and draw, then Fabi's gonna feel a little bit more tension. But maybe if Fabi can put him under pressure in that first game and have Magnus have to adjust, then we'll have a great match.
I have a feeling that the match that you guys are going to play is
You
going
think
to
they'll play
set
a
the
role?
tone
Oh.
for the main match. Because
Yeah, just put the pressure
I think
on
you're
even
giving.
more.
I think you're giving
Yeah,
us too much credit.
no, the one, because imagine if one side wins 2-0, that's definitely a psychological edge for the. And even
I think only one of us will be devastated. I don't think either one of them will care. They'll be able to blame us
That's true.
for the problem in the match. So I don't know. I don't know about that. I think they'll easily shrug it off and say,
The thing
whatever.
is, the best of 2 is a very short match.
Yes, I know.
You know,
But-
I mean,
but
when they're playing against each other. So really, for me, I think the first game is pretty much a decisive one for this Magnus and Fabi, and that's happening on this
Yes, on the
yacht
yacht.
right here.
So everybody watching, tell us your predictions and see you.
Bye.
Bye.